baby's home. Cairo, Cairo is my baby's home. One bad Cairo night won't be long. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Catch you around and take you off your feet. Shoot you, knock you, teach you and cut you too. Shoot you and knock you, teach you and cut you too. They get through the graveyard, then for you. Women in Cairo send you down to your grave.
Good evening and welcome. Thanks for coming, guys. And let's see. Geir from Norway. Welcome. Back for more inspiration. All right, now. Yes, it is Blues Monday, but we're going to do something else today as well. I don't know if you read in the description for today, but I'll be taking a song that's not really blues and play some slide on top of that melody. And yeah, we'll see about that. Patrick, hello, welcome. Hi, Albert. So great to see you. Good. We'll lead in with some nice backup as usual. But let me just tell you what's going to be happening today. So we're going to do the backup, and then I'll jump right on the theme for today, which is why play slide only on blues, which is not a new subject. I mean, I'm not reinventing the wheel in any way. It's just that when it comes to acoustic guitar playing, usually I hear electric guitar players apply some slide. I usually hear kind of alternative indie rock, Americana, singer-songwriter, kind of groovy, lots of slide guitar with the great backup, like I don't know, tremolo, vibrato stuff behind it, but usually on electric guitars. So I'm just gonna give a couple of thoughts about how I went into this particular song, helping make it through the night, and there is a story behind it. So while I'm playing this backup, and if you're not playing, go to the description of this video and just read the whole backstory of this whole thing, and then we'll do. Hi Maria, great to see you again. Welcome back. Somehow I cannot see your nice smileys or icons that you put on YouTube. This live stream software will not translate that into images for some reason. The smileys I think go okay, but those funny figure features, they don't work. Doesn't matter. All right. And maybe as just a little teaser for what's coming next. The next live stream next week is going to be a little bit about the tech, because I'm getting quite a lot of questions about how this whole thing is done. How do I manage this with 3 angles, 3 cameras, guitars, and all that? So I'll be more than happy to explain that, either in the coming next live stream next week or in the one after that. So we'll see about that. So let's go. We're going to be playing some backup. As usual, standard tuning, key of E. And I'll still be avoiding a shuffle blues backup. So 2, 3, 4, turn around. Ray. That was that. And before we go on, I'm turning off my microphone for just a second, and I'll have to fix something. The technical part. I'll be right. That's what happens when we're doing the live show. It's cool. But anyway, you are more than welcome to tune up your guitars in open G, either for this backup or for further on when we're going to be working with a song. Help me make it through the night. Angles that are a bit crazy, but we'll just manage that as well. How about that? Yes, that works fine. So another song for the backup is going to be something different than a blues shuffle. So we're going to do, let's say, if you imagine singing Love Her With a Feeling. When you love a woman, you love her with a thrill. Cause if you don't, some other man will. You gotta love her with a feeling. All right, that kind of a song. So I'll just do these changes, and you can improvise on top of that. And whatever you play in G, even on a standard tuning guitar, it's going to work fine. So, right. So that was this kind of not really shuffle blues, not really stomp blues like with a steady heavy bass, but something in between. Kind of this is usually played with piano, and I see Mr. David Hunt here in the audience. And thank you for working for me right away. Thank you so much. Yeah, the like button is appreciated. Feeds our vanity. No, it's just, I don't know. I like seeing it. Blind Guy's wife, they're alive. Hi, great to see you again. I guess we see each other like twice on Mondays. First, during David's live stream in the morning, your morning, and my noon, and now my evening, your afternoon, 3 o'clock. I guess you're in that time zone. I don't know. I know David is. Eastern, right? All right. Matthew 7 out of 7 in the pre-request queue. All right. I'm always looking for musical surprises. Homesick never disappoints. Right along with David Hunt. Thank you so much. That warms. Really great. Well, you know, Albert, there's this song that I sing quite often when I play live. It's called "You Must Come In at the Door." That's an old standard. Okay, you're on the New York City time too, Eastern Standard, so it's 3:20. Yeah, wow, 20 minutes past. Wow, that reminds me of getting to work with a song for today. But let me tell you one thing. I don't like how this guitar is grabbed, because when I play something up here, and which I'm going to be doing, it's not going to be visible. I'll have to just adjust this little camera here. That was quite audible, I think. Right. Good. Now we're there somewhere. This is because I'm switching guitars, you know, guys. I'm switching guitars, and this guitar is much smaller than the other one, and it's quite tricky to do that on the fly. Maybe I'll just zoom out everything a little bit, and then yeah. But I like you to see the most of your screen with these guitars, and so that it's quite obvious what I'm doing or not doing. So here's the backstory about this song today. I had this lesson with a student online. She was sitting at her home, and we were doing some blues stuff, and it was an average guitar lesson that I sometimes do, and actually it's a good friend as well. So she asked me, look, I'd like to learn to play this song that's not really blues. Could you maybe show me the chords for that? It's an old, very known song. Yeah, which one is it? She said, Help Me Make It Through the Night. And I remember when I was quite young, and I've heard Gladys Knight and the Pips sing this song from the beginning. And then later on, when I started playing the guitar, I've heard it in versions by Chris Christopherson and Willie Nelson and quite many others, but I don't really remember who wrote that song. So maybe you can just Google that up, or ask the ChatGPT, like everybody else is doing nowadays. Well, anyway, let me see today's theme. Here we are. The thing is that that song is quite easy to play. There are only 4 chords, and the Gladys Knight original version goes in G, actually. So we play that in G, in standard tuning, and I've showed her because there are chords of G, C, D, and A. If you don't want to make it a bit fancier or whatever, those 4 chords are plenty enough to play through the song, because the most important part is the lyrics and singing. So I've showed her that, and while she was playing that for me, kind of, okay, let's see if you got it right. And I just grabbed my other guitar, this one, in open G, and I just fooled around with my microphone turned off. And she was like, oh, are you playing with me? I know we can't do it in real time, but could you show me what you did? I said, well, I didn't do anything much. I was just fooling around with the melody. Oh, well, how did you do that? So I showed her. And it's going to be just a amateurish way of playing that melody now this evening as well, because I haven't really practiced on that. But that's something why it's so challenging and why it's so cool to try to play something that's not really blues and use this blues technique where you sometimes really have these patterns practiced in. Some things are just like painted inside your brain, and you play them that way and no other way, and that's it. And that's usually happening to people who only play that all their life. And sometimes when you listen to these old masters of the blues who really played in a very specific style that was only theirs and never got out of that, it really feels when you listen to it. You really hear that determination, and you hear that kind of, oh man, this is rooted, this is really deep inside. But nowadays we play different kinds of music. Now we play within blues, let's say. Now every kind of solo act that you listen to plays at least like 3-4 different styles. Sometimes you can hear some Piedmont blues with finger picking style. Sometimes you hear open tuning. Sometimes it's shuffle. Sometimes it's Chicago blues. Sometimes it's Mississippi blues and old country blues from the 20s and 30s. So it's kind of, they usually vary. But so my advice to anybody who says, oh, I'm a little bit stuck, and I've been playing this whole thing 5, 6, 10 years, 20 years, and I'm tired of that. I'd like to try something new. When we talked about this on my live streams before, and my advice was always, well, try to play something else, either within blues or maybe play the same song, but change the tuning, change the key, change the way you play, change the rhythm a little bit. I mean, I remember doing preparing for a blues festival somewhere, and I was about to write my set list, and I wrote, okay, I'm Ready, Willie Dixon, Muddy Waters, right? And I've always played that song in a shuffle. Right? Ready, ready as anybody can be. Right. And but I played it in E, standard tuning. And just a couple of hours before the gig, before the sound check, a band that was supposed to play after me, or I was the opening act, they said, hey, would you like to jam with us afterwards? I said, yeah, sure, why not? And then said, well, you just pick the song when we're up there and we'll play it with you. And then I thought, okay, let me see if I can try to play I'm Ready, but a bit different, not like that. So I played I'm Ready with them with this kind of pattern. Play that in standard tuning in E, not to have to change the guitar right now. And that went great because the bass player, he just realized directly, okay, that's not a walking bass. That's just going to be boom, 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 boom. But when the solo came, then he went to this boom, 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 boom. It was really great. So sometimes I even play that way when I play solo. So it's just a matter of challenging yourself. So back to this lesson and to this student who said, well, show me what you played. So I'm going to do the same thing with you. The song, Help Me Make It Through the Night, goes do-do-do-do-do-do-do, right? Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. We go to C. And then we go to D. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do 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 do. This was a G through C. So in open tuning, you have the C chord here, just as a regular C. If you play the C as if you would play in a standard tuning, you get the C7 with a big bassy 7 up here. But I like to play this C with a G in the bass. That's because G comes in the C chord. But when you play it with a G in the bass in the C chord, then it's a little bit of a different nuance to it as a chord. And if you want a 7th, then you would just add the 3rd fret on the 3rd string and a bit of dissonant, right? A note of D here, which is the 9th of the C chord. So it's kind of no, it's not. David, help me out. What's D in the C? Yeah, it is a 9th. All right, cool. So, and then the D chord is this one. You can just think of D7 like in a standard tuning, but don't play the 1st string. Move these 2 fingers up to the 1st fret on the 2nd string and the 2nd fret on the 3rd, and then you just grab the note A on the 2nd fret of the 5th string and the big bass. You got this nice D7. Do 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 do. I don't care who's right, who's wrong. Right? You come to the C. You know, copyright strikes and things happening on the internet when you try to play some songs live, and they might ban you for that. So I'm not gonna play the song. I'm just gonna go through it like this. Do, 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 do. And then you go to the A. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. D again. Do, 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 do. So that's basically the chord backup. I've got some researchers here with me. Thank you so much. Milovan and Chris Christopherson's song 1970. Yes, and Rita Coolidge. Oh, yeah. Oh, Rita Coolidge was one of my favorite singers of that time. Thank you. Another proof. Might be. I haven't heard that one for years. It's just that I went to hear Gladys Knight's version, and it was like, whoa, this is also in G. Like, I'm going to be playing in open G. So great. So here we go. The slide. So the first part of the melody, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. That can be played in like 2 octaves where we choose like right, so it's, and this can be played with slide. Why not? It can be played on a 3rd string. That's quite nice, right? And I love playing slide on thicker strings, so to say. I love playing the slide in a, let's say, in D chord, if I'm backing up somebody and they play a D chord. And I can just lay on this bassy part of the G open, and you play. This is so beautiful. Just play the slide on the 4th fret of the 4th string. That's the 3rd of the D chord. And then you use an A note here on the 2nd fret of the 5th. And then you can fool around with that kind of so this can be the D chord here. So yeah, tricky, cool. Sorry about that. So no more comments. Yeah, we go on. So the first part of the melody. And this note can be played on the 7th fret on the bass string if you want to vibrate it. So it will be like a... Or we could just let it ring. Right. Do 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 do. We don't have to play the exact melody. It can be varied like this, right? And then. So that could be an idea how to play this on the thicker strings. If we think an octave higher and to play it a kind of a solo-y. So we need to find this note. And this note is note A. So right on the 7th fret. And then we do and then we need the note D down here, but it's also on the 3rd string on the 7th fret. So it's like, okay, do I want to glide nicely down to, or do I want to play right? If you choose to glide all the way down to the D note on the 2nd string, there are 2 things you need to think about. The first one is to glide nicely. So you go first upwards, and when you come down to the 3rd fret, there somewhere, that's where I just dampen the note on the 1st string with my middle finger, and then I pick the note on the 3rd fret, 2nd string. And here you will have lots of joy if you've mastered the vibrato on the slide to keep the note ringing, which means right, where you work together with the guitar, with the string, with the slide, to just go further than maybe let's see, if I can play that note fretted, it's dead already. So, and there are some nuances in when you play slide. I cannot really zoom so much on this here. Oh, wait. I can do it with this maybe. Ooh, this camera. Yeah, but it's a wrong angle. Maybe this way. So the movement is sideways, smooth. The slower I will vibrate, slower vibrato, the smaller the movements as well, because otherwise you will get this. So you need to be there in kind of millimeter left, right, but smoothly and nicely. And then if you have a well-adjusted guitar for a slide, which doesn't always mean that the string action is really high, because with the high string action and heavy gauge of the string, you're losing some of the sustain. Or you'll have to use a very, very heavy slide. But usually there has to be a kind of middle solution between having a nice tone and at the same time being able to control the slide and being able to let the slide tone breathe. What I do here is I vibrate it, But then by the end of the vibrato, when I hear that it's kind of stopping somewhere, I would maybe press just a little bit towards the fret. So I play it very lightly in the beginning. I think YouTube is going to do us a favor with this part because it's compressing the sound a little bit. So when it reaches you, you hear it a bit more sustained than it really is acoustically here. But I can hear it. I have my earphones and I'm listening. So it's sometimes tricky to know exactly what you're hearing, but I think it shows. So that's one nice touch to it. If you want to vibrate a note for a long time, then just try to press a little bit more towards the fret, not going all the way down because that's going to either buzz or you're going to kill the note. And if you don't, you might get more overtones with the if I don't press a little bit more, but I don't like that dimension. I like it when it's a more meaty sound. Right, so back to the melody. And here it's really nice because you just end up on this slided C chord on the 5th fret. So you can fool around there a lot. So it's like so do 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 do. So what I did here was and I can either let that note ring on the 1st string and then just play the 2nd string and then continue with the 3rd and the 4th maybe. So or do 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 do. Oh, okay. So that note on the melody, note D, is here. 4th string on the 12th fret. It's on the 3rd string on the 7th fret, and it's on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. That's a guitar neck geography kind of. I visually remember where the notes are. I don't think notes as a music sheet. I just think notes as how they sound because I've learned to play the guitar by ear, so I very often connect things visually and how they sound. So I know even if I don't reach it right away, oh, that's right, just two more frets and I'll be there. Like a okay, that's it. Since I've played a lot behind other musicians and backing up and all that, I kind of developed this laid-back chord shapes where I really don't need to do the whole work because somebody else is already playing the backup. And then it's easy to maybe find some nice, let's say if I would play this G chord, and I hear that the main guitar player is already playing this beefy G chord on a nice big Gibson acoustic, and then I don't need to do this, right? Then I can just lay on a 3rd maybe. It's enough to just play that part of the whole chord, or to come to the note D. So which is not the note G where the chord is gone, but we're doing this. Then we can root it into G by playing the big bass, and then the 4th string on the 5th fret, and then vibrate that note. Do 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 D. So that's how I would maybe accompany somebody who's playing the song, singing, and playing regular guitar, kind of strummed chords on the standard tuning, in the standard tuning. Right, so now I want to come to the break, to the chorus, to the second part, right? That's a tricky one because, especially on this guitar that only has 13 frets, this is a short scale guitar and it doesn't have 14 frets to the body, it's got 13. A regular guitar has 14 frets, which means that it's starting, the body is kind of starting here, and that way you can easily reach those notes up there that are needed in this second part. I don't care who's right or wrong, right? That part. So this note lies on the 14th fret, goes along with this E, and then you need do 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 do. So either you're gonna go all the way up, or you're gonna do it an octave lower. But usually, if you do the effort of going to that, then you're kind of inviting yourself to a party to continue up the neck still. So I'm not really sure I'd do this live, but well, I am in a live stream, but maybe not performing for the audience. I don't know why. Maybe I would. A couple of beers and you never know. So yeah. Where's that note? So it's a something like that. That would be really possible on the guitar with 14 frets to the body. It would be quite okay. And this note here, that's basically the 5th fret down here. That's a A. And then you go down, do 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 again, right? So basically that would be the melody of the whole song, and the tricky part here is, of course, to make it nice and make it sing on slide. It's always difficult to do like this. And then some of you who've been watching my wonderful and distinguished colleague Roy Rogers say, hey man, Roy Rogers playing on a 12-string old Martin and he's reaching up there. Yeah, he's doing it every evening, every time he plays live, and he just chooses to do that all the time. So I didn't do my homework when it comes to that. But the thing is, the most important part is, or the funniest part is just finding those notes. Now I'm really kind of stoked with this to go, all right, so I know where the melody of this is, and in a crazy situation when you're jamming with somebody or whatever, then you can just relax and play the variation of that song, variation of that melody. You don't have to really play it totally up there. It's easy to come to the note and vibrate it nicely. Right? And the thing with these kind of smaller body guitars, or when you don't have too much place to position your slide and all that, sometimes you will dampen actually with your thumb like this. So if I would play the G7, that's right. So that note, and you hear it already. I've played this quite often because on these notes, I'm sure I know where I am. The intonation is right and all that. So it's really, really easy to notice those things. So I'm here and I'm used to dampen with my thumb here. But then when I go to the 12th fret, I'm back to the regular damping as I usually do with my index behind the slide down there, right? So, And then if I would play this melody, I use the dampening thumb technique because otherwise it would sound like this. It's okay, but I really don't like those higher notes because it's so risky that you really go flat or sharp, and it's I cringe to that. I just don't like that. All right, let me see. I'll need some rest from this angle with my wrist. So let's see. That's beautiful. Thank you. Jerry Douglas is the master of back and slide notes on the dobro. Oh yeah. And for those who are not familiar with a dobro guitar, is played this way, and the slide is played on top, right? So usually those guitars are either hanging on the strap and down in the waist height somewhere, or people are sitting down and playing the guitar on their lap. So it's a lap steel technique, but the dobro is both the brand and it's the type of guitar, dobro guitar. And that those necks on those guitars are not round like here. They're square neck because they need to cope with a very high string action, heavier strings, and sometimes they go and tune up to some tuning, so that physics of that guitar needs to be much stronger than on these regular ones. Ooh, I'll put this comment one more time because I haven't heard the Boxer. Ooh, thank you, Milan. I'll do some homework with that song. Great. So that was it. Those who are interested are more than welcome to come back to this live stream and just rewind and loop some of the parts that I've showed you, maybe as an inspiration or just a reminder of how that was done. But right now, we're going to go to the micro lick of the week. I kind of went back and forth between showing you licks only and then part of the melody of some songs. Sometimes I even played almost complete backup of a song as a kind of slide lick of the week or song of the week, and I'm still not really sure what's the best to do or what you guys would like to hear. So let me know in the chat if you have any tips. But today I just wanted to show you a very short kind of micro lick that's played with a technique that I think I first heard that in the mid-90s by listening to Steve James live when he came to the town where I live here in Sweden, and he just went live, and it was I think there were three guys: Lazy Lester, Steve James, and one more artist, and then the band played, and Steve was fantastic. He's not with us anymore, unfortunately. I think he passed away last year or the year before that. Yeah, he was a magician on the acoustic guitar. I loved his playing, and I loved his jokes, and I loved his stories as well. But he kind of, I've heard him play things like especially in open G, right? So so he did like this little micro lick. This. So it's like this. So you play it on the 9th fret on the first string, and then 8th fret on the second string, and then open first string. And now let me play you the G chord up here. It's the same chord. It's the same notes. So why wouldn't somebody play? Well, they do. We do. I do. Sometimes I just... and so on. So you can do it both ways, but the beauty of this is when this note is ringing on the first fret, you can do other stuff. You can choose to either go upwards or downwards and play something else, and you want some time to make it. Like, so now I even played that note with a slide. So there's a little trick how to... Things need to happen in a certain order, of course. And if you guys remember, in the very beginning of my live streams, I was really nitpicking about some things about the technique, how to achieve a nice and clean slide tone. So if we go back to that basic just for a second, this note, right? So what I usually do, there are 4 stages, 1, 2, 3, 4. The first one is placing my finger, picking hand finger, on the string I'm about to play. Then I would place the dampened finger lightly on the string I'm about to play. Then I will place the slide where I want it to be, and then I'll pick that note. So it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, pick. Do, 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 do. Sometimes in my workshops, if people have the patience for that, and if the group is not too large, sometimes we really sit with this for like 5 or 6 minutes just to go 1, 2, 3, note, 1, 2, 3, note, 1, 2, 3, note. And this kind of, I developed this technique playing in studio. When I was recording in the late 80s, I was hired for some jobs to kind of either play some slide or backup guitar or just to do some studio work. And then a very nice studio guy told me, like, man, you're buzzing all over the place. You need to learn to dampen, and you need to learn to dampen both with your fretting and the picking hand. That's all I'm going to tell you. Whoa. And he told me that at the end of a session. And I was going home and I was thinking, like, what the hell? So I went home and I had this old Tascam Porta Studio cassette recorder. If you guys remember that, who's older than 50, you guys know that. So, and that little Porta cassette recorder had 2 microphones. Like, it was stereo. On the unit, right? So I kind of came as close as I could and I recorded, and I was playing until like 2, 3 in the morning, trying to find the way. Okay, what did I hear? If I change from G to C to this to that, which string is buzzing, or which movement of my, let's say, hand is coming into the microphone. So sometimes it really doesn't matter, especially when you play blues, country. I mean, we can play some old guys where you can clearly hear when they're moving with your hands on the fretboard. Doesn't really matter. But these jobs were a bit more kind of slick. They were more of some, commercial music of that time. Sometimes they just needed a clean guitar backup and nothing else. And in those days, you didn't have either software or hardware. Sometimes you needed to cut the tape on some very, very tricky parts where something needed to be saved. And of course, they never did that on my guitar parts. No way. But they did it on some singing parts when the singer maybe sang a fantastic phrase, and then in the next second or two, it just screwed up everything else. So they kind of clipped that part of the tape and then they put it on another channel, and it was like, save it, good. But in my case, that gave me the idea of how to move my fingers. So let's say if I would move from F chord here to G. You hear that? This. Then I would do like this. So I was not really careful now either, but basically the technique is to play that chord, and just as I'm about to release the strings, I dampen with my right hand, and then I move the fingers, place them on the G chord, and then play that. And since that's not gonna be, or it wasn't supposed to be my solo recording, I was just behind something else, then it really wasn't important how I hid this problem. It just I didn't want to hear this squeaking of the strings. So, and that gave me some ideas about when playing slide as well. Like, okay, can I dampen this so it sounds clear enough and nice and with a long sustain and all that? So that's it. So back to the lick of the week, the micro lick, which is basically, hi Abby, nice to see you. Let me see, can I do it this way? All right, Abby and Dan, she said, we came late today. Great to see you guys. Okay, so you did hear some of the higher notes. Thank you. Great. So the lick I was playing is this. And there's a whole kind of melody line of tricks you can do from here. Again, I didn't invent the wheel. I've heard this from Steve James. And I bet you he heard that from some of the old masters or even from Sam Mitchell. If we go back to Sam Mitchell's first album, which I think he recorded in 1968 when he was only 18 years old. So he had the song called Sunshine in Houston. Sunshine in Houston, Lord, and it feels so fine. And that melody went like this on slide. Right? So there's this trick, but on the 5th fret. Then, and then. But he plays it very briefly, very slowly. I never practiced that. So basically, he had this technique of dampening a little bit before he would change to the. I can do it with a finger, but he did it with a slide. And Sammy was the first guy that I've heard playing so distinct when he could just continue the finger picking pattern with the bass, but then still go with a slide to this. And then. Me and my baby and a bottle of wine. Sam Mitchell. God bless his soul. Yeah. All right, guys. 3 minutes past the hour. Thank you so much for coming. We made it through the night, through the evening here, because I didn't take more than 1 hour at a time, which was my ambition. I'm getting better and better. 3 minutes this week. Next week, I'm going to be on the hour. Thank you so much for coming. It's been fun. And yeah, okay. So next week, it's either going to be about the tech behind this whole thing, or it's going to be about this phenomenon of, hi, is that AI? ChatGPT, I think everybody's talking about it. And it's like it's a subject of either love or hatred, or somebody's just like, oh God, that's just too much. I can't bother with that. Fine. But I've been investigating a little bit, and I've been fooling around. And I think that AI could be really great for some things. It can save you time. It doesn't have to solve the problem, but it can ease the way to the solution. And I think I'll be talking about that next week. All right, Gary, great to see you again. And thank everybody else for coming today. Don't forget to hit that like button. Keep it simple, but make it groovy when you play. Remember, if I can play it, you can play it. So lean back and play some slide now, and I'll see you next Monday. All right? All right, guys.
It was in spring, one sunny day. My sweetheart left me, Lord, she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. And she called me up, down and out by soul. Said, come back, Daddy, Lord, I need you so. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world. Like my peaches, don't you shake my tree. Get out of my orchard, let my peaches be. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. In spring, one sunny day, my sweetheart left me, now she went away. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top